Borealum. The Eldar generally prefer to arrange events so that the Imperium and not themselves are the ones fighting. In the Kaurava conflict, however, Farseer Caerys believed that the threat was too great for anything but a direct assault. The ability of the various Imperial forces to peaceably cooperate was one ill omen. The eruption of the warp storm and the speed and ferocity of the Blood Raven's expansion was an even greater one. Farseer Caerys found herself more and more troubled by visions concerning the Space Marines. She could not have forgotten the treatment her predecessor, Farseer Taldir, had received on Lorne V and Cronus by the leaders of the Imperium. Still looked back on them with a kind of hatred that can only stem from personal betrayal. Should the Blood Ravens meet with success, several outcomes were possible, and too many involved devastating victories for either the Necrons or the rapacious Dark Eldar. Either through ignorance or provocation, the Space Marines would unleash horrible forces on the galaxy. What the Eldar must do was clear enough, although a daunting task. Guided by her foresight and the wisdom of her ancestors, the Farseer led her army to the lands of solitude, and there made a bold strike against the famed soldiers of the Imperium. She would, of course, have preferred less direct methods, but there was no other way.
Be keen of eyes, my kin. Within the confines of this city, we know not what lurks in wait. Long I have seen these blood-stained streets in dream. There is a small war camp very near here. The one known as
Commander Boreale. Enemy forces in our perimeter.
Where?
Southern Quadrant, but they were on the move. Current location unknown.
Our perimeter has been prepared in the event that our enemies should be so bold and so foolish. As you know, most of our battle brothers are stationed in space, prepared to deep strike. We have placed numerous beacons, allowing for multiple, simultaneous, and devastating defensive deep strikes. Meanwhile, our ground forces will ensure the full defense of our headquarters.
It is he whom we must destroy. These defensive maneuvers originate in a single source. If we can dispatch this structure, we defeat this tactic, gaining a true advantage. We must find the origin of their aircraft and destroy it. Turn it to smoke and ash. If we don't destroy their factories, those planes will control the skies. We must prepare to move with deadly speed and accuracy before they can pinpoint our location.
The Blood Ravens had learned the value of speed and mobility through hard battlefield experience. Force Commander Boreale, who had studied under the famed Commander Angelos, sought to make his reliance on stationary defensive structures as small as possible. Therefore, rather than build up the Space Marines' Central Command, entire companies were reserved in the fleet above Kaurava II. These would be ready to deep strike with deadly speed into any territory, including the Blood Raven's own headquarters. If attacked by an enemy, drop pods would cover the Marine stronghold in a steely, thunderous hail, swarming the Space Marines' enemies with super soldiers and dreadnoughts. Force Commander Boreale was sure of his plan. His greatest weapon was, after all, the superiority of the Space Marines themselves. Who could weather such a rapid and devastating defensive tactic?
Sir, we've lost nearly half of our deep strike beacons.
Yes, we have.
Sir, every beacon we lose reduces our ability to strike on the field.
Do you think I care if we lose a beacon or two? This is war! War! All we need is enough battle brothers on the ground that we can crush them under our boot heels and destroy them with our bolters. That is what matters, Space Marine.
Sir, we are blind down there. There are only a couple of beacons left.
Throw what we've got at them. We just need to keep them disoriented.
There cannot be more than a couple beacons remaining. Yes, I can sense them. See, there are the air production facilities. Quickly, it must be destroyed.
Farseer, a cloaked scout has been intercepted.
Defend the airfield!
Guards have spotted us. We are ambushed. Prepare for combat. The time approaches when we must fly forward and strike.
All the premonitions and provisions of Farseer Caerys failed to match Indrick Boreale. All the deadly might of the Eldar art of war proved useless against the Imperial Space Marines. The Eldar loss of life was terrible. The other combatants in the Kaurava system had distracted the Eldar. The Blood Ravens grew strong, while the Eldar's strength was whittled away.
Now, quickly, to safety. You think to defeat us? You do not even know where to look for us. And you will be dead long before you do. We will strike when you do not expect us. You will try to strike back, but in vain. We will not be there.
Frustrated by their elusive tactics, Boreale felt a growing ire towards the Eldar. His longing to crush these troublesome foes, combined with his desire to claim the barren lands of the upper wastes for a great temple and testament to the powers of the God Emperor, ensured that the Space Marines would attack at their stronghold without great delay. More than any other race, the Eldar concerned themselves with the distant past and the distant future. In visions, Farseer Caerys anticipated the reawakening of their ancient foes, the Necrons and Kaurava III. A webway gate, unused for many millennia, flickered to life. In the blink of an eye, a barren tract of the wasteland planet became a sprawling base of operations, and the Eldar army poured forth from it. Just as quickly, this stronghold vanished from the naked eye, concealed by Eldar artifice. The Eldar had learned long ago that no bulwark, no matter how strong, could halt the slow, implacable progress of the Necrons. Only illusion, deceit, and misdirection could accomplish that goal. And these are things at which the Eldar are peerless. The Eldar had prepared a harrowing gauntlet for their invaders, with all the feints and deceptions they could muster. This stronghold was not just a foothold, not just a key strategic point, not just home to many Eldar secrets. No! Through its long history, it had become sacred to the craft world Eldar, and they would defend it accordingly. The fact that an ancient Eldar stronghold had resided on Kaurava III took the 252nd Conservator Regiment entirely by surprise, something that General Vance Stubbs was not pleased to hear of. After sending the officers responsible for intelligence on Kaurava III to the firing squads, General Stubbs undertook to remove all non-imperial presences from the planet. If General Stubbs had learned anything in his many years leading the Imperial Guard, it's that the Eldar, or pointy ears, were trouble, and it was best to crush them as soon as you had the chance. General Vance Stubbs had kept a wary eye on the doings of the Eldar Farseer. Debased by nature, he could not restrain himself for long against the provocations of this ancient hatred.
They approach. We are prepared.
Yes, Farseer, but
Yes,
must we fight?
we shall fight. They must never suspect. They shall come, expecting the obvious, the simple, the artless. They shall stab at the shadows with confused minds and troubled hearts. Meanwhile, we shall appear unseen from 10 directions, and from every one, strike a fatal blow. Do you know the history of this place, which we call Esselir Talith, and the young races call the Upper Wastes?
We, the Eldar, made our war camp here, in a past age.
Yes, that is so. Our ancestors came here to fight the Necrons when they were an overwhelming wave that swept the worlds. This system was one of their stages of destruction, their foundries of undeath. Our ancestors defeated them here. We constructed our war operations center here as an illusion. No brute army, no simple display of force could uncover its secrets, and none ever shall. No, it is more than an illusion. It is a clever trap, this place our ancestors forged. It is a net covered in leaves that the savage beast willingly stands on, tempted by a bloody morsel, only to find itself hoisted, trapped, at the hunter's mercy. No, we shall guard our secret. No force can strike a target it cannot find. We shall not yield up our foothold on this world. Kaurava was once ours, and shall be ours again.
Since arriving in the Kaurava system, Force Commander Boreale had watched the Eldar forces closely. Puzzled by their presence, he had endeavored to grasp the nature of their interest in the conflict. He knew of the ancient feud between the Eldar and the Necrons, and was able to interpret the actions of Farseer Caerys, who led not by strategy, but by powerful visions of future dangers. To him, the Eldar were on an inexplicable warpath. Although he could not reconcile this with past knowledge of the Eldar, he determined that their presence in Kaurava was incompatible with the Imperium. Force Commander Indrick Boreale viewed the Eldar, as he did every other alien race, as enemies of the God Emperor. He knew of their ancient and advanced civilization, but to him this only made them rivals to the Emperor's primacy. Having been fully briefed on the recent Eldar interference on Lorne 5 and in the conflict over Cronus, Force Commander Indrick Boreale kept a wary eye on the armies of Farseer Caerys, although he might have made a cautious ally of the stern Eldar leader in other circumstances. Boreale did not hesitate to attack her stronghold in the Upper Wastes when the opportunity presented itself, in order to ensure the Blood Raven's complete subjugation of the Kaurava system. Boreale knew that in a direct attack, he was facing a shrewd tactician whose instincts and battlefield wisdom might well exceed his own. Nevertheless, he had full faith in his Marines to overpower and outmaneuver the Eldar at every opportunity.
We are at your command, Farseer.
Ah, my bone singers. I am so glad to find you here. Good. We must build our army swiftly and prepare for the strike. Let us summon our forces from the webway.
Farseer, they have disabled one of the illusion barrier devices.
See, sisters and brothers, those rhino transports grant them the element of speed. If we were to destroy the vehicle bays that are producing them, then that advantage would be ours alone, would it not?
Farseer, surely this is where all their transports have been coming from.
Strike it down, and we strike at their heart.
Farseer, small outposts have been spotted south of our webway assembly. While they stand, we should not leave our base unguarded.
I see. We shall prepare for the worst.
They are upon us, Farseer. Is it time?
Almost. Not yet. More warp spiders and rangers are needed on the field. Send word to their base camp, and have it down immediately. If they have more of such giant beasts, I had fain not fight them. We should find and destroy the places where they are kept.
Quickly, we must build a forward base.
General, we've sighted 2 Eldar camps in the vicinity. They're extremely well defended and should be avoided.
We should remove their camp if we can reach it. Watch out for those patrols.
I see. I have seen their Farseer who knows nothing of the future. He stands by their great cannon.
When the brave men of the 252nd found themselves in the hot sandy barrens of the Upper Waste, General Vance Stubbs gave them a good talk, warning them that they'd have to be the fastest, sharpest-eyed guardsmen ever known. While it might not be said that the guardsmen anticipated every move of the quick-witted and devious Eldar, they certainly proved that the Imperial Guard's strength and resilience could stand up to any such trickiness. Although the strategies and technology of the Eldar far outmatched his abilities, the fearless general marshaled firepower and heavy armor to great advantage, finally revealing, cornering, and removing the Eldar forces from the face of the map. Indeed, where the Eldar remained a small and agile force, the Imperial Guard multiplied until they were a sea without number, an advantage which served them greatly in overwhelming the Eldar stronghold. Pressed hard by the avalanche of Imperial Guard troops, the Eldar fought frantically, and then, overwhelmed, succumbed.
Farseer, we have lost our Ranger and Warp Spider facilities.
Why are there not more Nightwings in the air? Need I remind you, we are at war. Deploy all interceptors, immediately.
Another illusion barrier was destroyed, Farseer.
Then the other ones must not fall.
The Eldar headquarters directly below us. Move quickly, men. Leave nothing standing or moving. We will force our way right past all those turrets if we have to, but look sharp, brothers. If there is some other way, we will take it. This is going to be easy. They will not see us coming.
Weary of firing at shadows and illusions, we will always elude you. Leave now while you can.
Hide all you want, Eldar. We will come and find you.
Boreale could wait no longer, and his space marines struck with deadly might and fury. Bolstered by his adherence to the doctrine of the Imperial truth, Commander Boreale marched against the Eldar, declaring them natural enemies of the Imperium. The many ruses and deceits of the alien enemy could not prevail against the Space Marines' zeal and devastating firepower.
Farseer, they have disabled the support platform array. The entrance is no longer protected.
So, our Nightwing production has been destroyed. I see our many roads to victory growing fewer and more arduous. Yet, there is still hope. I have seen this. Do not yet despair, my sister. They have not foreseen our every move.
The elite Shining Eagle squadron of Nightwings remain where they were assigned, Farseer.
Good. We must press on.
Gone? Again? Brothers, scour the area for another one of those barrier devices.
Commander Boreale, we have detected unusual energy patterns nearby. We await orders to investigate.
Do you hope to frighten us, humans?
Well, well, there is another base. Smoke and mirrors. We will strike you over there, too.
They have disabled all the illusion barriers. This should never have come to pass. We have few chances left. We must fight. We must prevail.
No! Hold back, warriors. They will be our undoing.
Let us see how they deal with the Shining Eagles. They are no ordinary pilots.
It is unlikely to succeed.
When he felt he was strong enough, Commander Boreale and his bloodthirsty Blood-Raven raiding band fell upon the Eldar stronghold of Esel-Ir-Tanil, which the Imperium had named the Upper Wastes. The hot, dry lands of the Upper Wastes were an advantage to the Blood-Ravens. With their calm discipline and well-orchestrated tactics, they drove the Eldar from the field. They thwarted the many tricks and traps that Farseer Caerys set, unleashing havoc in their wake.
Even our Shining Eagle squadron could not stop them.
It is as I feared. They must be stopped. Be it at the stem or at the bud, they must be stopped. Their noble deaths will be honored. Only victory matters now. If we perish, so does our last Eldar foothold on this ancient world. Be strong of heart, warriors. We must finish this, now! How little you understand the Eldar. You have stepped into our snare. Do not expect to escape it alive.
The Eldar army approaches. Ready yourselves, blood ravens. And if we die this day, we die in glory. We die heroes' deaths.
Now!
Force Commander Indrick Boreale and Farseer Caerys were pitted one against the other, speed for speed, trick for trick, evasion for evasion. But in the end, the Space Marine struck the final blow. The gamble paid off, and the Blood Ravens took the day.
We came here long, long ago. We did battle with our deathless foes, the Necrons, and won. This day we have lost. If they swarm again like locusts here, some other must stop them, for we shall be gone.
Boreale ordered his warriors to allow fleeting Eldar to escape. But after the battle, the land was scoured for webway gates, all of which were destroyed. Eldar do not easily forget. The great commander hoped that in this fashion, the Eldar would hear of the Imperium's superiority and benevolence, and one day died of fear. The fact that some Eldar, including the Farseer Caerys, were able to retreat to their last webway gate before the advancing Space Marines troubled Boreale very little. He had won. The Blood Ravens scoured the area, uncovered the many caches and depots hidden within the stronghold's grounds, and smashed a great deal of it with triumphant enthusiasm. Many millennia ago, the Necrons and Eldar had waged epic war across the lands of Kaurava III, and in that distant age, the Eldar had prevailed. Now it was as if that same battle replayed itself against the Space Marines, but Vanquisher and Vanquished were reversed. General Vance Stubbs, or the Emperor he served, surely took some malevolent satisfaction in the victory over the Eldar stronghold. The Imperial Guard did not stop at the slaughter of all life forms, but trampled every last vestige of the Eldar presence, uncovering many of their ancient supply caches in the process. After the enemy were routed and the Farseer had fled, General Stubbs loosed his men to hunt and torture the remaining Eldar. The wild pleasure that his warriors took in defiling the captured Eldar was far greater than it could have been for any other race. Of course, the bulk of hostages were reserved for tribute to General Stubbs and his superiors. Yet, in spite of all his bounty, the general was deeply pained to learn that Farseer Caerys had escaped and might never be made his personal plaything. Still, the victory was great and would raise his standing among the Imperial Guard. After nothing living was left, the 252nd Conservator Regiment took to looting and destroying the Eldar structures and stores. What the Imperial Guard found after the battle was evidence of an Eldar military presence older than theirs, and, in fact, older than the very Imperium. General Stubbs paused only a moment to wonder at this, before ordering nearly all of the Eldar structures and artifacts summarily destroyed. In Stubbs' mind, Caurava III was a waste planet, good for mining a few necessary military installations, and no more. The upper wastes would make a finer low-grade outpost for the Imperial Guard. Following the victory and the necessary prayers and ablutions, Commander Indrick Boreale ordered the ancient Eldar stronghold cleansed. almost all the Eldar technology was burned and cleared away. The upper wastes were ritually purified and declared territory of the Imperium. The Space Marines found evidence suggesting an Eldar presence in the upper wastes that was surprisingly ancient. However, other than a small number of supply caches, the base consisted of very little, as the Eldar relied heavily on their webway. While the battlefield was being cleared, and the dead ritually lamented, Commander Boreale pondered his army's next move, reflecting on the terrible price that is sometimes paid for peering into the tangled skein of the future.